Hi everyone, thanks again for watching my channel. I do really appreciate it. Today I'm going to go over with you one of our one-man sled block destruction drills that we simply call stunter drill on the one-man sled. It's really good at being able to simulate getting hands inside, grabbing, and I'll explain how we're able to do that against an inanimate object. We're not beating up on each other. We can do it in no pads, full pads, right? All the different combinations. And this is an everyday drill. You know, if we have other things we're trying to accomplish, it's at least every other day in the preseason. It's every day in the spring, no matter what. And then in season, it's at least twice during the week. Okay. So here's how this works. I mean, I'm a little bit limited with my graphics, but this is the one-man sled. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to start clockwise with the coaching points, and then they'll get re-emphasized throughout this video. Then I'll go to how we set up the drill and execute it, and then the stun, tear, block destruction technique itself. Right? It's a matter of being fluid with the arm part of it as well as the feet. Okay? So not to be Captain Obvious here, but in a left here, okay, meaning we're working to our left, so we're tearing opposite. Our right foot's going to be up. On the right tear, the left foot's going to be up. So just think, when I'm moving to my left, I want the right foot up. That'd be the near foot. And I'm tearing to my right. On a right tear, I'm tearing to my left. That's why the left foot is up. And big keys here are getting the hips outside or clear of the blocker. That's where synchronizing the hands and the feet comes in. Okay? And always be sure that you work both directions. And no guessing games. You're going to tell you guys, stun tail right, second time through stun tail left, mix it up so they keep them from getting robotic. Okay? Do all those different things as a coach. So the drill setup and execution, this is the key now. All right, the first thing, the sled pads, they all have handles on one side. If they don't, those are the type of sled pads that you really need. Okay, you put the pad on so the handles face the defenders. So they're going to be able to grab the handles. As we know, you can't grab most of the sled bags that you find at the high school, college level, divisions 3, 2, maybe even NAIA. You get to the FBS levels, and obviously professional football, they have the best of all worlds. Okay, well, most of us aren't in that category. Okay, so make sure that the handles are facing the defenders. Then you just line up one line opposite the sled, okay, and the coach's foot, again, is going to be the movement key. And the linebackers are going to approach the sled from the predetermined angles. All right, so they need to know if it's a stun tear right or left. Okay, kind of go back to the coaching point, so they know how to set their feet when they approach the sled. Okay, so I know this is straight up, but the reason the diagram is set up this way, always use tangible landmarks. It eliminates wasted time just getting people lined up. Okay, people want to look and they want to know the boundaries. They want to know where stuff is. So we frequently use a hash mark. We use the sideline. We use 5-yard lines. You know, we're usually off the field, but there's a zillion different lines for all the sports, right? So use them. So it's easy, right? Everybody line up on the red line, line up on the yellow line, except the blue line. Okay? That's why it's set up like that, but they'll be coming from an angle. All right? So now the big part, right? What is the stun tear block destruction technique itself? You don't want a lot of stagger. You don't want your toes even. So we say toe heel. Okay? So the back foot's toe is on the front foot's heel. All right? And so what's meant by, remember, backside foot up, if I'm tearing to the left, my right foot's up. Well, ultimately, moving to my left, my right foot is my back foot. Okay? Now, the stun portion of it is done with the back foot up. Okay, so I'm stun tearing left, my right foot is up. Swing. Okay, everything is in sync. I am making contact with the blocker, Hands above the eyes, all of those principles. As I'm doing that, my right foot is up, my right foot is in the ground, right? Always remember, create force through the ground. Okay, so I apologize, I'm getting up and down. I don't want to make anybody dizzy here. Okay, so when you make the contact, typically we just say try to make contact with the thumbs first. Okay, it's not going to be perfect. Don't overcoach it because your guys will start thinking, and when they're thinking, they're stinking. But the fingers grab the handles. Though the handles represent the breastplate. We don't talk about armpits because that widens out your defender's hands, and inside hands win, right? So that's what we talk about. And we emphasize it's perfectly legal for our guys to do that, as it is for the offensive lineman to do it, right? So inside wins, right? Inside you win. Outside, look out. So it ends up being what's known as the double long arm. And we don't necessarily talk about locking out because that kind of disrupts the fluidity of the process. So we just say long arm it, create that separation. Okay, so that's what we mean by it. And as that's happening, you start stepping with the play side foot. So on a left here, as I'm doing this, I'm already starting to step with my left foot because it needs to be fluid. And so now if I've already started stepping with my left foot, once I tear or pull the sled forward and away from me, I have a much better chance of getting my hips outside or clear of the blocker. This takes some time. Okay, in the spring, it'll take probably the first 2 or 3 practices to get back into it again. For new guys who come in, sometimes mid-year guys in the spring, it'll take them longer. For all incoming freshmen, even transfers in the preseason. Transfers, it may not take as long, but most high school, incoming freshmen coming out of high school, it'll take them a week, sometimes 2 weeks. Because it takes that much, synchronization between your hands and your footwork. I don't have any film presently. We start spring ball in a couple of weeks. I'll be able to get this on film, but until then, you're going to have to deal with me getting up and down. I apologize. All right? And then like everything you do, you always want to finish. Don't just let them do this and then turn and get to the back of the line. That's not what happens in football. What's going to show up on the film is they execute the stunt here and they finish the tackle. So the coach becomes the ball carrier, stationary, sprint shimmy. You just turn and face. You give them the back hip so they can cut your butt. Okay? So this is a great drill. Again, you can do it in no pads. We'll put the pads, or in spring break now, we'll put the pads on when they come back, and they can go down to the field themselves and do this on their own. They can film themselves on their cell phones and all that stuff. Okay, but as I can't be on the field with them, not until we start spring ball. So we'll start allowing our guys to get the opportunity to get as much as they can back into it before we even get back on the practice field. Okay? So if you have any questions at all, please reach out to me at coachmjsullivan@gmail.com. Okay? Because I would love to talk football with you.